Hello, hello, hello. I am your Professor Coach LE, and I'm excited for this week because I can't believe it's the third week of April, but I'm also excited about some of the skills that are being learned in my communication class. This is a little different from my Feel It Up Friday or Feel Good Friday. I'm doing a Motivated Monday for everyone taking the class and looking at the fundamentals of work communication. So for those of you who are not taking the class, you'll definitely walk away with some wonderful strategies, whether you have your own business. There'll be some persuasive strategies. There'll be some ways to organize a persuasive message, even within families and communication. So hang out with us for maybe, I'm trying to do this in 5 minutes. I'm putting myself on a timer, 5 to 7 minutes. But I just wanted to highlight a few things that everyone needs to know, especially taking my class. If you completed your Monroe's Motivated Sequence outline, great. If you did not, you're still time to make that happen before the final project is due at the end of the week. So I'm going to share a screen because I would love to walk you through a couple of things you need to know. We're putting together this persuasive presentation. Is some highlights. Again, some of you already are familiar with what needs to be done, but sometimes it just takes that verbal connection in order along with the show and tell. So that's what I want to give you today. But what problem are you committed to solving? When you show up and you record this type of presentation, it needs to be clear that you're committed to a cause. It needs to be clear that you're well informed about the problem and you do a great job of defining that problem. I'll remind you of a couple of resources that are available to you to find statistics, examples, testimony, expert, and peer to support your defining a need for change, something different from the status quo. Your subjects are anything service learning related. You were introduced to a couple of topics: animal rights, aging, our arts, disability, domestic, environment, health, hunger, homelessness, youth, etc. So the goal here is, what impact are you trying to make in the community, and what problems would you like to define? So there's a lot more topics, of course. Even if you did not get a chance to complete a service learning project, you can still research particular organizations, agency, or causes, and maybe even propose a solution that's already tied to an agency that is making an impact in our community around that subject matter. So this is what we're using. Monroe's Motivated Sequence is a great 5-step sequence for those of you doing a call to action speech, of course, in the attention getting device that happens in the introduction. For objectives, when you are introducing a presentation, standing up and delivering, you want to get our attention. There's a lot of different ways to do that, with asking a question, starting with shocking statistics. I love quotes or stories. So if you need to dig deeper, for those of you in my class, there's a whole chapter dedicated to strategies on how to gain your audience's attention. Even if you're virtual, you can still do that. And then, of course, establishing your personal credibility. You also want to reveal your topic and tell us where you're going with the subject. So there are going to be 3 main points that need to take place. Roman numeral 1, that first main point is defining a problem. You need to convince your audience that a problem exists, and within your theme or topic, looking maybe at the causes and the effects of it. You could definitely go through the chronological stages of the problem. So there are various ways to define a need for change. And the need for change can also, we're going to talk more about that. It could be a change of actions, change of belief. It could very well be reinforcing existing beliefs, but you're just defining a problem that exists. Then satisfy it. Propose a solution or reinforce a solution that's already in place. And what I like about, maybe commercials do this a lot, with branding they do this a lot. So they're finding a problem that you as the consumer, you as the customer have, and they're saying, guess what, my product solves it, my service solves that problem. So that's what we're looking for. Again, if it's animal rights, aging, if it's domestic, environment, you're defining this problem and proposing a solution. Even you have found evidence that it can make a difference. Visualization is making clear the benefits of adopting your plan or belief system. I think that speaks for itself. And then finally, action. In your conclusion, make sure there's a clear call to action. And again, your goal can be active, where there's immediate actuate. You're immediately wanting us to connect, or if it's donating blood or donating money or items to a particular cause, or it could be passive. It could be passive agreement. So immediate action you want us to do, or maybe even stop doing. And then there's belief system, where you're challenging our beliefs around a subject matter. So there's the Monroe's Motivated Sequence that I believe is so helpful. Of course, there's some other strategies on organizing the speech, but we're focusing on those, this one particular one. So when you are recording these presentations this week, make sure that you remember that your power of influence is based on how well you're able to articulate your competence and character. Common ground, your credibility, common ground with your target audience. Even if there's some differences, finding what the commonalities are so critical to at least relating to your audience before presenting a particular problem or proposing a solution, especially if it's something you're trying to get them to stop doing or start to do. Then evidence and reasoning and appealing to emotion. So you see Aristotle's logical appeal, when we're using evidence and reasoning. Love, love, love the examples that are mentioned in your textbook. It just reminds me of decisions that we make, even in our daily lives, that you're going to use over into doing a call to action for this formal presentation. And speaking of things we do in our daily lives, one of the discussions which was so lively that you did a great job with was identifying examples of how you've tried to convince people to do something with you, for you, or a person, and what was successful about that. So that was a great discussion with my team or with my groups of students over the past couple of weeks, I think we did a half ago. Here's evidence. I wanted to remind you, when you're looking for evidence to support your position or defining a problem, make sure it's specific. Novel evidence is so helpful. Credible or current events are helpful, and credible evidence, and making clear the point of your evidence. So I just wanted to remind you of 3 resources. 2 are government resources. The census.gov has a wonderful statistics around population, different demographics if you're looking for that. And then the USA.gov also has local government opportunities to research, and it kind of spreads out throughout layers of government. So then Ask Us Now info is at Ask Us Now Maryland. I love promoting this. They're on social media, they're on Twitter, and they really tweet the Ask Us Now Maryland, these librarians who are working and serving you to help you with your research. And they tweet wonderful hot topics that people ask questions about any and everything. So it can be about your projects, but it could also be about any other topic that you're just looking to research. I had someone, a student who's dealing with some landlord tenant issues and was able to Ask Us Now Maryland info to get some state data and information on policy guidelines and laws. So that was very informative. So that's what I wanted to share, those 3, and remind you that there's a lot of other resources within our databases. So Opposing Viewpoints and Context gives you some wonderful research in academics. Our virtual writing center is also available for you in there to support you. I'll stop there and just say thank you again for all of your hard work. I know it's been a transition for some of you to go from face-to-face to now completely online. Hopefully there were some tips, as I'm going to actually stop sharing. There were some tips in today's little mini lecturette to let you know or remind you of how to organize a persuasive message and put together the best standing up and delivering or sitting up and delivering professional type of presentation that you can. And we're looking forward to hearing that. Some of you definitely shared some various things in terms of course, visual aids you can integrate in there, or refer us to a website that you might need us to see or visit as a part of your call to action. Looking forward to seeing what you produce this week. Continue to support one another, and remember what resources are available to you. And always, always think about decisions that you're making. And if they are honoring your core values, you want to embrace that, and embracing people who are definitely there and supporting you. And remember, you have resources that are here to support you throughout this journey. If you have any questions about not only call to action speeches, but any communication tips, again, this was my Motivated Monday message to jumpstart the week and get everyone ready for this this next project that they're doing in my class. But stay tuned. I'll definitely do some more Friday, Feel Good Friday messages. In the meantime, make it a great week. Looking forward to hearing from you. Of course, post comments and or email.